How people built shelters to survive freezing winters in the Wild West. Hello guys, today we will know about how ordinary people lived through the freezing winters of the Wild West. We will speak softly and slowly. This narration is meant to help you relax, to rest, and to fall asleep as the night grows quiet. Imagine a small frontier town on the wide plains of the American West, around the year 1875. The land is open, the sky is vast, and winter comes without mercy. There is no drama here, only cold air, slow work, and quiet endurance. The town is small and scattered. Its streets are narrow and uneven, pressed hard by wagon wheels and boots. At night they grow foggy, and dim oil lamps glow faintly along the way. The wind moves softly between the buildings, carrying dust, frost, and silence. Most homes are not strong or grand. They are built quickly, with wood cut nearby, or sod lifted straight from the earth. The walls are thin, the roofs low, and every crack lets in the cold. People know this, and they prepare carefully. In winter mornings, the town wakes slowly. Frost lies heavy on doorsteps, and breath turns white in the air. Doors creak open, and smoke begins to rise from small chimneys. Each thin trail of smoke means warmth is being made, little by little. Shelters here are built for survival, not comfort. Many are dug partly into the ground, using the earth as protection. Others are made of rough wooden boards, nailed together with care. Every piece of material is precious, nothing is wasted. Sod houses are common on the open plains. Men cut thick blocks of grass and soil, stacking them carefully. The roots hold the earth together, forming heavy walls. These walls keep out the wind, and hold warmth inside. Inside these homes, light is dim. Windows are small, sometimes covered with cloth or oiled paper. Furniture is simple, a table, a bench, a bed stuffed with straw. Everything is close together, for warmth and ease. A single hearth or stove stands at the center of life. It burns wood, dried dung, or whatever fuel can be found. The fire is never allowed to die completely. Someone always watches it, feeding it slowly. Meals are prepared quietly. Bread made from coarse flour, porridge cooked long and slow. Sometimes beans, sometimes dried meat, sometimes only water and grain. Food is plain, but it brings strength. Clothing is worn and layered. Men wear heavy shirts, wool coats, and patched trousers. Women wrap shawls tightly around their shoulders. Children wear clothes passed down, mended again and again. Work continues even in the cold. Animals must be fed, water must be carried, fires must be kept alive. Men chop wood until their hands ache. Women cook, clean, and mend by the fire. Children rise early. They fetch kindling, help with animals, and sweep the floors. Some attend small schools, often run by churches or kind neighbors. Lessons are simple, reading, writing, and quiet discipline. The streets during winter are hushed. Few carts move unless necessary. Horses stand with heads low, breath steaming softly. Wagons creak slowly over frozen ground. Shops open late and close early. Inside, shelves hold flour, lamp oil, cloth, and tools. Shopkeepers keep small stoves burning. Customers speak little, saving breath and warmth. Markets are modest. Vegetables are scarce. Meat is salted or dried. People trade carefully, counting every coin. Nothing is bought without thought. Transport is slow. Wagons move cautiously, avoiding ice and deep snow. Horses wear simple coverings. Drivers wrap scarves tight around their faces. As daylight fades, the town grows still. Oil lamps flicker to life, casting soft shadows. Doors are barred, windows covered. Families gather close to the fire. Evenings are quiet. Stories are told softly, or not at all. Some read from worn books, others mend clothes in silence. The fire crackles gently, steady and calm. Outside, the wind moves across the plains. It presses against walls, testing every joint and seam. Inside, people listen, waiting, trusting their shelters. Trusting the earth, the wood, and the fire. Night deepens slowly. Children lie down first, wrapped in blankets. Adults follow, careful not to let the fire fade. Sleep comes in pieces, light and watchful. Through the long winter nights, the shelters hold. Sod walls keep the cold away. Wooden cabins creak but remain standing. People endure, one night at a time. Morning returns quietly. The fire is stirred, more fuel added. Another day begins, cold but familiar. Life continues, slow and steady. Weeks pass like this. Snow falls, melts, and falls again. Food grows simpler, clothing grows thinner. But the shelters remain, doing their work. These homes are not beautiful. They are shaped by need, by weather, by hard hands. Each wall tells a story of survival. Each roof holds back another storm. In the Wild West, winter teaches patience. People learn to move slowly, to speak softly, to endure without complaint. The night always returns, with cold air and quiet stars. Inside small shelters, fires glow low, and life rests, waiting for dawn. The cold deepens as winter settles more firmly over the land. The frontier town grows quieter with each passing week. Snow gathers in shallow drifts along the narrow streets. Footsteps sound slower now, more careful. Inside the shelters, life becomes even more inward. Doors are opened only when needed. Cold air slips in briefly, then is shut out again. Warmth is guarded like a treasure. The walls of sod houses darken with moisture. People press extra cloth against them. Old blankets, sacks, and spare clothing are used to seal gaps. Nothing is wasted, nothing ignored. Wooden cabins need constant attention. Cracks appear as the boards shrink in the cold. Mud, clay, and scraps of cloth are pushed into every opening. Hands work slowly, stiff with frost. The fire remains the heart of the home. Fuel is added in small amounts, never too much. A careful balance is kept. Enough heat, but no waste. Ashes are saved. They are used to help insulate floors. Sometimes spread beneath beds. Every small effort adds warmth. Beds are placed close together. Children sleep beside parents. Shared blankets cover many bodies. Breath rises and falls in quiet rhythm. Morning routines grow slower. Ice coats water buckets. It must be broken carefully. Hands ache, but work continues. Food stores are checked often. Flour sacks grow lighter. Dried beans are counted carefully. Every meal is measured. Cooking takes time. Porridge simmers gently over low heat. Bread is baked only when fuel allows. The smell of food fills the small space, briefly comforting. Clothing is dried near the fire. Steam rises from damp wool. Boots are turned toward the heat. Care is taken not to scorch or crack them. Men leave the shelters only when needed. Wood must be gathered, animals tended. They move slowly across frozen ground. Faces wrapped, eyes lowered against the wind. Women keep the interior in order. Sweeping dirt floors. Mending torn sleeves. Stirring pots with steady patience. Children learn silence in winter. They play quietly, close to the fire. They help where they can. Carrying kindling, folding cloth. Schooling becomes irregular. Cold makes travel difficult. Lessons are sometimes held in homes. Reading by lamplight, writing on small slates. The streets outside remain nearly empty. Snow softens all sound. A lone wagon passes now and then. Its wheels creak slowly. Horses are kept close to shelter. Their breath steams heavily. Extra feed is given when possible. They too must survive the cold. Shops open briefly during daylight. Trade is quiet and careful. Few words are spoken. Hands move quickly, eager to return to warmth. Oil lamps burn low. Fuel is precious. Wicks are trimmed carefully. Light is kept soft and steady. As evening comes early, families settle once more. Shadows dance on the walls. The fire speaks in soft crackles. Stories are shorter now. Voices lower. Fatigue settles in. The cold presses close. Outside, wind moves across the plains again. It carries snow against the walls. Shelters stand firm. Built with care and need. Night deepens. The fire is banked with ash. Doors are checked. Blankets pulled higher. Sleep comes slowly. Interrupted by the wind. By the fire needing attention. By the weight of winter itself. Yet still, life holds on. Shelters do their quiet work. Protecting those inside. One cold night more. Winter continues its slow hold on the frontier town. Days pass without clear markers. Only the changing light tells time. And the steady rhythm of survival remains. Inside the shelters, habits become firm and careful. Every movement is planned. Every task has a purpose. Nothing is done without thought. The floors are packed earth. Cold seeps upward through them. People spread straw, old cloth, and hides where they can. Feet move softly to keep warmth. Walls are touched often. Hands feel for dampness, for cracks. If cold air is found, it is sealed at once. Mud freezes hard, becoming part of the wall. Roofs are checked after each snowfall. Snow is brushed away slowly. Too much weight could cause collapse. Ladders creak, boots slip, care is constant. Fuel grows scarcer as winter drags on. Wood piles shrink day by day. People burn smaller fires now, letting rooms grow cooler. Cooking pots stay on the edge of the heat. Meals stretch longer. Porridge grows thinner. Bread loaves are smaller. Hunger is quiet. It is felt but not spoken of. People eat slowly, saving strength for the cold. Clothing shows signs of long use. Elbows thin, hems fray. Patches cover patches. Every stitch matters. Hands crack from the cold. Water stings the skin. Fat or grease is rubbed into fingers. Pain fades, work continues. Men return from outdoor tasks stiff and silent. Ice clings to their coats. Beards hold frost. They warm themselves slowly by the fire. Animals receive care despite the cold. Chickens are kept close to shelters. Cattle are fed dry hay. Water is broken free of ice. Children are taught caution. They are warned not to wander far. Cold steals warmth quickly. Play stays near the door. Some children fall ill. Coughs linger in the small rooms. Herbs are brewed. Warmth is the only remedy. The town's small church opens its doors on quiet days. People gather briefly. Prayers are spoken softly. Hands are warmed over shared stoves. Charity moves quietly through the settlement. A loaf left at a door. Extra fuel shared. No words are needed. The streets remain pale and still. Snow dulls sound. Wind draws long lines across the ground. Tracks fade quickly. When storms come, they arrive without warning. Snow presses against doors. Light disappears. Shelters are tested once more. Inside, lamps are kept close. Oil is rationed carefully. Shadows deepen. Time stretches. The fire burns low during storms. Too much heat wastes fuel. Too little invites danger. Balance is everything. Night returns again. Longer now, colder. People sleep in layers. Breathing slow and shallow. Outside, the plains lie silent. Stars hang sharp in the sky. Wind passes over buried grass. Winter holds the land. Inside the shelters, hearts continue to beat. Quiet, steady. Waiting. Enduring. Winter press onward. Time feels slower now, almost still. Each day follows the one before. Cold, work, fire, rest. Inside the shelters, routines deepen into habit. People wake before full light. Not by clocks, but by the fire's need. Ashes are stirred, embers coaxed awake. The first warmth of morning is faint. Hands hover near the flame. Faces remain drawn and quiet. No words are wasted. Water must be fetched again. Ice seals the barrels overnight. A tool breaks the surface slowly. Cold splashes against sleeves. Breath clouds the air inside the home. Until the fire grows stronger. Walls release the night's chill reluctantly. Warmth comes inch by inch. Meals remain simple. Grain boiled thin. Bread divided carefully. Each portion equal. No one eats quickly. Food is taken with patience. Chewed slowly. Allowed to settle and give strength. Clothing is chosen with care. Layers added. Loose garments tied closer. Every button and string matters. Boots are repaired again and again. Leather stiff from cold. Soles are patched with rawhide. Nothing is replaced, only renewed. Men step outside into the pale daylight. Snow reflects harsh light. Eyes narrow. Movement is deliberate. Axes strike frozen wood. The sound carries far in still air. Each swing measured. Energy conserved. Women remain near the hearth. Hands busy without pause. Mending, stirring, cleaning. The interior holds its own quiet labor. Children sit close. Watching, learning. They are taught how to seal cracks. How to bank a fire. Lessons are practical now. Survival itself becomes instruction. How to listen to the wind. How to judge the weather by the sky. The town itself feels smaller in winter. Distance seems longer. Paths narrow beneath snow. Neighbors appear only when needed. When someone does visit, it is brief. A knock, a word, a shared task. Then silence again. Wagons rarely travel now. Snow grips the wheels. Horses strain carefully. Trips are postponed whenever possible. Supplies grow thinner. People take stock often. Counting, remembering, planning. Hope rests on endurance. Evenings settle early once more. Light fades before work is done. Lamps are lit reluctantly. Oil measured drop by drop. The fire becomes gentler at night. Flames reduced. Heat held close. Shadows soften the room. Blankets are shaken and spread. Bodies lie close. Warmth shared quietly. Sleep arrives in shallow waves. Outside, wind passes low over the land. It carries snow like fine dust. Shelters absorb the sound. Holding steady. Night stretches long. But it always loosens its grip. Somewhere, morning waits. Silent, patient. Inside the small homes. Breath rises and falls. The fire glows faintly. Winter continues, and so do they. Winter shows no sign of leaving. The cold settles deeper into the ground, and into the bodies of those who live upon it. Endurance becomes quiet and constant. Inside the shelters, the air feels heavy. Smoke clings to the low ceilings. Eyes water gently. Yet the fire must burn, even faintly. Walls carry the marks of long use. Darkened by soot. Smoothed by passing hands. They feel familiar now, almost living. People move carefully through the small spaces. Every step is known. Every corner remembered. Nothing surprises the body anymore. Morning comes pale and weak. Sunlight barely warms the frozen earth. It touches the walls, then fades, leaving cold behind once more. Fuel is guarded closely. Wood is split smaller, burned slower, stretched as long as possible. Sometimes dried dung is used. Its smoke is sharp, but it gives heat. And heat matters more than comfort. Cooking becomes even simpler. Water, grain, salt. Pots are scraped clean. No trace is wasted. Hands tremble slightly in the cold. Work is slower now, but steady. Always steady. Men return earlier from outdoor labor. The cold steals strength quickly. Faces are pale. Movements careful. Animals crowd closer to shelters. Their warmth is shared through walls. Their sounds soften the night. Life presses close to life. Children grow quieter still. They listen more than they speak. Eyes follow every movement. Learning by watching. Illness lingers longer in winter. Coughs echo softly. Breathing grows shallow at times. Warmth remains the only comfort. Neighbors check on one another without words. A shared glance. A knock answered slowly. Presence is enough. The town feels suspended. Between storms. Between nights. Between breaths. Snowstorms return without warning. Covering tracks. Hiding paths. Forcing everyone inward again. During storms, time loses shape. Day and night blur. Lamps burn longer. Fire becomes the only measure. Silence grows thick. Broken only by wind. By the crack of wood. By quiet breathing. As night settles, the fire is banked carefully. Ash spread thick. Heat held close. Bodies curl beneath layers. Sleep comes lightly. Dreams fade quickly. Rest is shallow, but enough. Outside, the land waits. Frozen, patient. Inside, the shelters hold firm. And life continues, slowly, quietly. The heart of winter settles even deeper now. The air feels heavier, slower. Each breath is measured. Each movement deliberate. Inside the shelters, silence grows familiar. Not empty, but full. Full of small sounds. The soft shift of bodies, the faint pop of embers. The fire is watched closely through the long hours. Too strong, and fuel is lost. Too weak, and cold returns quickly. Hands adjusted again and again. Ash is smoothed over glowing coals, holding heat beneath the surface. A quiet skill learned through long nights, passed from one person to another. Morning begins before light. Someone rises slowly. Boots pulled on stiff feet. The fire stirred once more. Cold clings stubbornly to the room. Walls release warmth slowly now, as if tired, as if winter has worn them thin. Water is warmed carefully, not boiled, only taken to the edge. Enough to soften frozen hands, enough to wake the body. Meals remain plain and calm. A bowl passed quietly. Spoons move without sound. No one speaks of hunger. Clothing grows heavier with layers. Wool upon wool. Rough fabric against skin. Comfort replaced by necessity. Hands are red and cracked. Faces drawn and quiet. Yet work continues. Because it must. Men step out only when required. Snow crunches beneath boots. Wind cuts sharply across cheeks. Tasks are done quickly, then back inside. Animals are checked in silence. Feed measured carefully. Water freed from ice. They too endure. Children stay close to warmth. Listening, watching, learning. Their play becomes still. Small motions near the fire. Stories are fewer now. Voices grow tired early. Words are saved. Silence does the rest. The town outside seems distant, even when just beyond the door. Winter has narrowed the world to walls, fire, and breath. Snow piles against the shelters, pressing gently, steadily. Rooflines soften under its weight. Hands brush it away when needed. Storms come and pass, leaving deeper quiet behind. Tracks vanish. Paths must be found again. Evenings stretch long. Lamps glow faintly. Shadows settle into corners. Time loosens its grip. Sleep arrives slowly. Bodies sink into straw and cloth. Warmth shared. Breathing evens out. Outside, the plains remain frozen. Stars burn cold above. Wind moves without rest. Winter holds on. Inside, the shelters continue their quiet work. Holding warmth. Holding life. Through one more long night. The cold does not lift. It settles into everything. Wood, earth, cloth, and into the bones of the people who live here. Inside the shelters, movement becomes slower still. Not from weakness, but from care. Every motion is chosen to preserve warmth. The fire breathes softly now. No bright flames. Only a steady glow beneath ash. Enough to keep life from freezing. Hands hover close to the heat. Palms turned inward. Fingers curled gently. Warming little by little. The air smells of smoke and earth. A familiar scent. One that speaks of safety. Of shelter holding firm. Morning arrives without brightness. The sky remains pale, light filtered through frost. Day and night feel close together. Someone rises quietly. Blankets are lifted with care, so warmth is not lost too quickly. The fire is stirred again. Cold water waits in buckets, its surface stiff and unwelcoming. A thin layer of ice is broken gently, water drawn with patience. Food is prepared in silence, grain poured slowly, water added carefully. The pot set near the coals. Steam rises faintly, condensing on low ceilings. Droplets fall back to earth floors. Everything returns to the ground. People eat close together, sharing heat, sharing space. No one rushes. Clothing grows heavier with use. Damp wool dries near the fire, turned often, so it does not stiffen or crack. Men return from brief outdoor work. Faces pale, eyes tired, cold clinging stubbornly to their coats. They stand close to the hearth, not speaking, letting warmth move inward slowly. Too fast would bring pain. Animals shift in nearby shelters. Hooves stamp softly. Breath rises in clouds. Their presence adds comfort. Children sit quietly, watching the fire, listening to the wind outside, learning patience without being told. The town feels far away now, even when it is only steps beyond the door. Winter has drawn everything inward, reduced life to essentials. Snow presses gently against the walls. It muffles sound, softens the world, creates a deep stillness. Occasionally, a knock comes at the door. A neighbor checking in. No long visit, just quiet assurance. Evenings arrive early again. Light fades before work feels finished. Lamps glow faintly. Oil saved wherever possible. The fire is prepared for night. Ash drawn over coals. Heat trapped beneath. A practiced and careful act. Bodies settle close together. Blankets layered thick. Warmth shared without words. Breathing slows. Outside, the wind moves endlessly across the plains, carrying snow, carrying cold, unaware of time. Inside, the shelter holds, steady, protective, doing its silent work. The night stretches long, but life remains, quiet, patient, waiting for another morning. The season remains unchanged. Cold holds its place without hurry. Days move quietly into one another, marked only by fire and rest. Inside the shelters, the air feels close. Warm near the hearth, cool near the walls. People move between these spaces slowly. The fire is treated with deep respect now. It is never left unwatched for long. Someone always listens for its sound. The soft shift of embers beneath ash. Wood is added sparingly, one small piece at a time, enough to keep life moving. not enough to waste. Morning brings the same pale light. It slips through narrow openings, touches the floor briefly, then fades again. Hands wake slowly. Stiff fingers uncurl near the heat. Circulation returns little by little. Pain eases into feeling. Work resumes in its quiet order. Water warmed. Clothing turned and dried. Food prepared without haste. Meals remain modest. A shared pot. Simple bowls. Steam rising gently. Eating is unhurried. Each mouthful taken with care. Warmth spreads slowly through the body, sustaining what must last. Men step out only when the weather allows. They read the sky carefully. Cloud movement. Wind direction. If snow threatens. Tasks are shortened. Shelter takes priority. The cold never forgives delay. Women keep the interior steady. Cleaning ash. Repacking bedding. Maintaining order in small space. Children help quietly. They pass tools. Carry small bundles. Learning usefulness through action. Their voices are softer now. Winter teaches restraint. Laughter is brief. Silence stretches comfortably. Outside, the town remains hushed. Snow dulls edges. Paths blur. Only familiar routes are used. Occasionally, a wagon passes slowly. Its sound carries far in still air. Then fades again, leaving quiet behind. Supplies are checked again and again. Flour measured. Fuel counted. Hope rests on careful balance. Evenings feel longer now. Darkness arrives without warning. Lamps glow dimly. Shadows grow gentle. The fire is reduced for night. Not extinguished. Only softened. Held safely beneath ash. Bodies settle into familiar places. The same corners. The same shared warmth. Routine brings comfort. Sleep comes in shallow waves. Interrupted by wind. By shifting embers. By the body adjusting to cold. Outside, snow rests heavily on the land. Covering grass. Covering memory. Waiting patiently. Inside the shelter. Breath rises and falls. The fire glows faintly. And winter continues, quietly. The winter begins to feel endless. Not harsh, but unchanging. A long stillness settles over the land. And over the people within it. Inside the shelters. Time moves gently. Measured by the fire's warmth. By hunger returning. By sleep arriving once more. The walls seem closer now. Not confining. But familiar. Their shapes known even in darkness. Hands moved by memory alone. Finding tools. Finding bowls. Finding the edge of the hearth without light. The fire speaks softly. A low sound, steady. A reminder that warmth still lives. Beneath ash and care. Morning comes quietly again. light, thin and pale, barely touching the frozen ground, then withdrawing. Someone rises slowly, careful not to wake others too quickly. Blankets are adjusted, warmth preserved as long as possible. Cold greets bare skin immediately. Air bites gently. The body tightens, then moves again. Water is warm just enough, not wasted, only softened from ice. Enough to begin the day. Food is shared from a single pot, steam rising in thin threads. Spoons move slowly, no sound except breath. Strength returns little by little, not fully, but enough. Enough to continue. Clothing is rearranged again, layers shifted. Damp fabric turned toward heat. Dry cloth folded close. Outside work is brief, limited to what cannot wait. Snow is brushed from roofs. Animals are checked quickly. Men return with cold clinging to them. Faces pale. Hands stiff. They stand close to the hearth. Warmth moves inward slowly. Too fast would bring pain. So patience guides every moment. Silence helps. Children remain near the fire. Their movements small. Their voices low. Winter has shaped their play. They watch the adults closely, learning how to wait, how to endure, without being told. The town beyond the shelter feels distant, as if the world has narrowed to walls, fire, breath, and the quiet passing of hours. Snow continues to gather outside, softening sound, blurring edges, holding everything still. Occasionally, the wind rises. It presses against the shelter, tests every seam, then moves on. Inside, the walls hold, earth and wood doing their work. Shelter remains steady. Faith placed in simple things. Evening arrives without ceremony. Light fades once more. Lamps are lit reluctantly. Oil saved carefully. The fire is prepared for another night. Ash spread gently. Coals covered. Heat kept close. Bodies settle into familiar places. The same warmth. The same closeness. Comfort found in routine. Breathing slows. Sleep approaches quietly. The world grows smaller and softer. Outside, winter continues its long watch. Inside, life remains. Quiet, steady, enduring.